Hi, everybody. I'm live. Isn't this really exciting? It's my very first live stream. I did a bunch of live stream testing stuff yesterday. Um, but I obviously don't know how exactly it's going to go. So, welcome to the 24-hour zine weekend. I'll just give like a little introductory spiel because I think that when you're watching a YouTube live stream, you can just click to the beginning of the video. You can rewatch previous parts of the stream. So then for anybody who's coming in who doesn't know what this is about, then we can just say like, oh, just like to the beginning of the video, and then that has all the details of it. I don't know if that's going to be helpful. But basically, today is I guess today is officially the second day because it is Saturday, April 22nd at 9 a.m., 9:01 a.m. now, where I am. And it is the beginning of the 24-hour beginning ish. I just was talking about that. Okay. Let me start over. This isn't like YouTube where I can go back and edit. Oh man. 24-hour zine weekend, April 21st through 23rd, hosted by Nina at Echo Zines. Echo Publishing is the website, and the idea is that you try to make a zine in 24-ish hours, or make a zine over the weekend. And of course, there's various levels. Some people are just going to use this as an opportunity to work on a zine. Some people are going to be really serious about it and try to do like, I'm starting at this hour and I'm ending at this hour, and that is it, period. Ah. um yeah. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to try to make a zine just kind of like over the course of these live streams, and probably a little bit of cleanup in between. I'm going to try my best to do start to finish. And um, if you want to participate, then obviously, like, you're here, you're kind of already participating. But you can just talk in the chat, and I will, be sure to check it and everything. uh, or you can share your work anywhere that you like to share it with the hashtag 24-hour zine weekend for your easy reference on this lovely sign. What I'm gonna do, and kind of the way that this live stream is gonna go, is that I'm just gonna kind of be working on my zine and chatting as people are here or not here or whatever. So it's gonna be like, you know, old school webcam kind of stuff. And of course, like, there's some construction thing is or like some big truck on the street right as I'm starting this. Um, I have my coffee, which I don't know how this happened, but it tastes truly awful. Like, I'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm sure that I'll have plenty of things to talk about. um, so like throughout the course of this stream, at various points, I'm going to be doing a couple of tarot readings, probably, as I need some inspiration. I'm happy to do some for you if you need some inspiration. Um, I think it'd be really cool to do some zine giveaways. I also got in the mail yesterday a couple of boxes of zines that I think would be really fun to do, like an unboxing, open them up on stream. I think that would be fun. And besides that, I've got like some. I'll do the big reveal. I have some other signs. This is for when I'm going to be doing focused work time, and I'm not necessarily going to be checking chat super regularly. And I basically just tried to come up with this because it's hard to write and talk at the same time. And I'm sure that I'm going to have to write a whole bunch during this too, obviously. So I figured doing sort of like a Pomodoro technique, which is where you have a chunk of time for working and then a chunk of time for break and chat, is going to work well. So if you see this sign, it means that I'm doing focused work time, and I'll still be here working on it, but I just might not respond to chat right away. And then, hang on, I've got this sign for when I am not at the desk. I'm like really ridiculously proud of this sign setup, like this sign thing because I kind of came up with it just last minute yesterday, thinking like, this is probably a good idea to just indicate what the hell is going on, you know? Yeah. All right. I'm going to chit chat a little bit about the zine that I'm working on and mostly use this as like a way to organize my thoughts because I've had a whole bunch of random thoughts about my zine. Excuse me. I've had a bunch of random thoughts about my zine, like what I want to do. And the overall theme that I want to do is like a southwestern United States desert magic and desert witchcraft kind of thing. Because I grew up in Colorado, I grew up in the Southwest, and I mean, Colorado's sort of like Southwest adjacent, kind of depends on what part of Colorado you're in, but I was like close enough to the Southwest, and we went to the Southwest a whole lot. And so I just kind of have a lot of special memories with the Southwest, and I think that there is something especially magical about it in a lot of ways. And I've also like okay, so I was already feeling kind of nostalgic and kind of homesick, and then my uh like I was watching I've been on Instagram, and so I was watching the Tucson Zine Fest happening, and I was so unbelievably jealous. Like, Tucson Zine Fest, I want like that's so unfair. How come you guys are out here doing the how come you guys have zine fests right now? Everybody out here is still prepping for snow. I was so unbelievably jealous of the Tucson Zine Fest because when I lived in Colorado or even California, I would have been able to just like go on a road trip, and it would have been like a weekend trip probably, but I could have done like an impromptu road trip and just driven down to Tucson, Arizona and done the Zine Fest. And of course, like, I've wanted to visit Wasted Ink Zine Distro, which is like a physical zine distro, and I think they're in are they in Tucson or Phoenix or something? What they're I don't think they're in Phoenix. Whatever. They're somewhere in Arizona. And so I was like I was like super jealous of that because when I was growing up, I could have just like driven down, and I did a whole lot of just sort of impromptu trips down to New Mexico, down to Arizona, down to all these places. Like, god damn it, I want to go there so it's so unfair that they have a Zine Fest right now. Hi! Hi, nice to see you. Happy afternoon. Um, yeah, I'm just kind of talking about the Southwest United States, and that's kind of what the theme of my zine is going to be for the 24-hour zine here. Yeah, it's kind of like so now I'm in Massachusetts, which is on the entirely other coast, and it's like a multi-day excursion just to get down to the Southwest at all. Like, like, or I have to take a plane or something. It's just a whole different thing. And the weather is all very different, and the people are all very different, and no one's ever been to New Mexico, and it just doesn't make it. I guess I just call it homesickness, which honestly is like irritating me a little bit because I did not think that I was gonna start to feel homesick for the Southwest. Um, just I didn't I kind of have this idea of like when I was growing up and when I was in sort of unstable housing situations, then I was always thinking that okay, well, I'm gonna find some place where I'm gonna finally be able to settle and relax and be, you know, I'm gonna find the perfect place and I'm gonna live there and it's gonna be perfect. And I'm not gonna feel homesick. I'm not gonna feel nostalgic. I'm not gonna like wish that I was anywhere else. And now I'm here, and I've been in Massachusetts, and I've been like in a really solid apartment that I really love, that I've settled in, and I'm still finding myself missing um the Southwest. Like now, I've sort of had my honeymoon period, I guess, with the Northeast, and now I'm just wishing for the exact opposite, Northeast, Southwest. It's like I kind of don't know what to do about it. Um, I don't know. So, well, I do know what to do about it. I'm gonna make a zine about it because that's a way that I can like express myself and express my wishes and my zine desires and my homesickness in a way that hopefully is gonna help me kind of put it to rest. I'm gonna like do the zine and then I'm gonna put the homesickness to rest. It'll be there in the zine if I ever want to read it again. And hopefully it'll sort of help me move on. So I sort of like I did a little bit of prep here where there we go. I sort of pulled out a whole bunch of collage stuff that and just like stuff from my stash that I thought would kind of fit the general theme of of the zine that I'm doing here. And I wrote some loose ideas of just what I had going on. And so I guess what I'm gonna try to do first. What am I gonna try to do first? I think what I'm gonna do is like prep my pages. Like take the paper and cut it and prepare it to actually do pages directly on. Usually when I do zines, I just have like this is just regular cardstock, and I just fold it in half or cut it in half, and I do all the pages like single, all the half letter pages. I do them one at a time, single sided, so that later I can rearrange them for print and then rearrange them to scan for screen reading. So I think that's what I'm going to start with. Actually, no, here's what I'm going to start with. I'm going to drink this, even though it's really awful. Um, and I'm going to pull a tarot card because I am that person, and because the tarot deck that I'm using is very southwestern, and so I think it's gonna give me some inspiration, and hopefully I can just like hold on to this for the entire weekend when I'm at like hour 13 and inevitably I'm starting to lose it a little bit. Okay, we'll go with that one. Here is the card I got. This is the High Priestess. Very colorful. And very interesting because, like, in this deck, I think the High Priestess is associated with Venus, and so it's very about creativity and that sort of thing. So I'm going to keep it right there to sort of help inspire me. What zines are you working on, or zine, or writing for future zine? Are you trying to do like the do it all in 24 hours from start to finish, or just kind of using this as an opportunity to hang out and work on your zine and not necessarily have like a goal in mind? I used to work for National Novel Writing Month, which is in November, and the idea is that you try to write 50,000 words in 30 days. I used to do tech support, customer service, that sort of thing. I say work for it. It was like an office of 12 people. So it was very small, nonprofit kind of thing. Really fun. And I I always thought it was funny how there were a lot of people who were worried about whether their work or whether their writing counted for NaNoWriMo. Like, because nobody cares. None of the people working there gave a shit about, like, whether your work fit a certain set of criteria. I mean, there were people who literally used this to like write newsletters and emails, and there were people who used NaNoWriMo as inspiration and motivation to write their dissertation. And that's all super awesome. Like, however you want to use it to get motivated and hang out with people, like, that's the whole point, is just building a creative community, not like giving a set number of rules. Like, people would be like, are we allowed to write fan fiction for NaNoWriMo? It's like, you're fucking allowed to do whatever you want. Like, right? Yes, absolutely. Of course, I didn't respond like that. I said it very like, yes, please, you're absolutely welcome to write anything you want. And I'm not like, they don't know. That's why they're asking. I'm not making fun of them or anything. I just think it's like, it's like a little bit endearing, but also a little bit sad to see when people are like looking for permission to do something cool and creative. Like, just, I I recognize how some people kind of need that permission, and that helps them. I mean, I need permission sometimes, or at least like reassurance. And so I'm happy to try and provide that in some capacity, in answering their questions and being a support for them. But it's just a little bit like, when you think about it, it's a little sad, right? About, yes, you can do whatever you want. You can make whatever you want, and you should make whatever you want. I don't even know how many of these I'm making. I guess 24 is like a normal, it's like a reasonable amount. You do like a page an hour. We'll see how that works. This cardstock is really weird. I just get like the cheapo bulk cardstock, and this one seems to have a very smooth side and then a very textured side. It's not that rough or anything. It still takes pen, and it's probably smoother than most like sketchbook pages. Just seems odd to me that it has these two different sides. I'm gonna play some music also. This is the first time that I've ever had to think about like copyright safe music. And honestly, I don't know how much I'm gonna bother worrying about that, because like, I kind of doubt that YouTube would like shut down the live stream in the middle. And if it, I don't monetize my channel or anything anyway, so like, if it gets taken down later, or if it gets non-monetized or whatever, like, I kind of don't care. But at the same time, if I'm going to be thinking about it anyway, then I do know some music that is not exactly copyright free, but that, I know the creators, they're like Bandcamp people, and I know that the creators would be really cool with just be playing it during a 24-hour zine weekend. One of which is Lavender Witch, 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 which is Nina's band. Nina has a fucking Riot Girl band, which is the coolest thing ever. And I sort of have a surprise for Nina when she pops into the stream at some point. I imagine that she'll pop in at she'll probably pop in hopefully sometime this weekend, and I have a little surprise for her. One. Let me count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14's like fine for now. Because I might want to do it on a different color or something. Like, I'm calling 14 enough. Good enough. Okay. Where are we going to put this? Over here. Okay. Now, my plan. These are like, okay, so my thoughts for sections, I guess, because I do all my zines as kind of like per zines that are split up by different. They don't exactly all flow together. They're just kind of articles, like shorter pieces that are all kind of put together. So I think what I'm gonna like. So this is just like my list of ideas for things that I want to do articles, zine sections on. I have some of these I like don't even remember what they were because I was just writing them at different parts. Okay. I wanted to do cactus facts and showing off my new cactus, which I will definitely do at some point on the stream. I have a coyote picture, which is basically like a sketch that I did literally years ago, and I feel like if there's any time to finish it, it's this time, right? Like while I'm doing a Southwest zine. Forced to acknowledge and work with the land. What was that about? I think that was sort of talking about how like the desert itself is like creates this the desert environment forces you to acknowledge it. What was I thinking on that one? I don't totally remember, so I'll have to come back to that one. Talking about just like the explosion of color and greenery after it rains with storm witchcraft and expansiveness. Talking about rocks and crystals, remembering stuff from the desert, petrified forest, Taos watercolor trips, sunscreen, sigils, and glamour. I don't know why I wrote that. I don't know if that's just kind of like to create an idea of different types of witchcraft that people could do. See, the funny thing is I talk about this as being like Southwest witchcraft, but I don't really do a lot of witchcraft or kind of any witchcraft. I just like I feel like I just like the idea, And I think that I think a lot of things are magical. And I guess I kind of have been approaching the concept of witchcraft as just being like acknowledging things that are magical is witchcraft. Kind of, like, if that makes any sense. So I guess, the act of witchcraft for me is acknowledging all of these things. I wrote moon and sun, desert animals, and liminal space. I really should have written more. I think maybe what I'm going to do is like, I'm going to fire up my typewriter. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to just kind of like write out some of these random thoughts that I've had about, acknowledging magic is witchcraft. I guess I'll just write the intro. Like, why not just do it sort of in order, right? Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. So, I have a typewriter now. If you haven't seen it, this is my typewriter. It's an Olympia. Let me double check the model and everything. This is a lot harder to do than with a fucking Wilhelmshaven model B12, made in Japan, designed in Western Germany with an English keyboard. Very exciting. I found this at a flea market, and I gave it, a few tests, and I was pretty sure that it worked. It's entirely manual too, so it's like it's not electric, which is really nice because that means it's sort of more portable. Portable, about as portable as a typewriter can be. Um, let's see. Let me kind of angle this down so you guys can get a look at it as I'm using it. Yeah, yeah, that looks so cute. um, it's a manual, and I was pretty sure that it wasn't broken. I was pretty sure that it was just that the ink ribbon was dried out, because it was definitely dried out, and as you typed it, then the text just got super faded and got more and more faded. So I was like, oh, yeah, whatever, the ink ribbon's dried out. Go back, take out the ink ribbon. I ring it myself because I am too impatient to wait for another wait for an ink ribbon replacement. And then and then I give it a test, and it was still having the same problem. And so I had to like kind of take apart the typewriter and fiddle with it. And I say this as though I'm like complaining about it, but I actually had a lot of fun with it, and I feel very accomplished and very like, look at me, I can fix a typewriter. And I had all these fantasies and dreams about like, I'll start a typewriter repair service for people. Like, yeah, okay, calm down. You don't know anything about typewriters. I'll start a typewriter repair service, and I'll like go up to people's houses and be like, "Oh yeah, it seems like the thingy isn't attached to the thingy properly. We need to get a little spring thingy to attach the thingy." Like, yeah, that's what people want. But I got it working, so hey. Okay, hang on. I gotta grab a piece of paper, like typewriter paper. It's not really typewriter paper, it's not like specialty. It's just the cheap copy paper that doesn't take printed ink very well. So it's perfect for typewriter ink though, because it's nice and thin. So it goes through the roller really smoothly. Oh, I'm gonna have to cut this one in half too. Okay. Yeah, but I took it apart. I don't really know anything about typewriters. I don't really know much about how they work or anything like that. And turns out it was just like the thingy. There was like a okay, so the problem is that the spool ribbon was not advancing. And so how a typewriter works is that whenever you press a key, what's supposed to happen is that when the key retracts, when the slug, that's what the little key, the little hammer that hits, it's called a slug. When it retracts, the ink ribbon is supposed to move forward a tiny, tiny bit, so that you get fresh ink. Because if you keep hitting the same spot on the ink ribbon, then obviously it's gonna start to fade. It's gonna wear a hole in the ribbon. Like it doesn't work. And the problem was that it wasn't advancing. So obviously, like you hit a couple of keys, and you're hitting the same spot on the ink ribbon, and so it ends up really faded. And so it took a lot of fiddling and staring at it and just trying to see how this thing is actually supposed to work. But I did it, and figured out that there was just like a teeny little spring that I guess had broken or was missing over the years. And I tried to order like a replacement spring, and it's not like a specialty spring for a typewriter exactly. So I didn't have to worry about that necessarily. Okay. So I just got like some default springs on like at the I got some default springs that the kinds that are meant for electronics. That's what it said. So I figured it's like, okay, they're electronics. They're going to be super, super small. And then I got the springs and they were all way too big. But I was like, I need this typewriter to work for this weekend. I am going to make this work. And so I sat there with like some needle nose pliers and I like twisted and worked on it and finally got the spring to attach and it works. And I'm very happy. I'm very proud of myself for that. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like one of those quiet work times that I was talking about. I'm gonna play music. Let me pull up my music on my computer. Okay, and we're gonna be into copy and destroy, which is the zine themed. It's the album by the zine themed band The Copy Shams, which is an album that Alex Reck of Portland Buttonworks and Stolen Sharpie Revolution and just like a big old zinester did this zine themed album, and it's so cool. So, okay, let me see. So I figure Alex is probably pretty cool with me playing this on stream. I don't think I'm gonna get a copyright strike. Okay. I'll try to play it pretty quietly. If it's super loud, okay, you know what? I've tested what the noise is. Obviously, you guys know how to use chat. You guys know how to tell me things. Let's see. Okay. We got that about ready. I'm gonna play that and I'm gonna take this sign. Focused work time. So this just lets you know that I'm not necessarily gonna be talking. I'm gonna be writing. And I'm not necessarily gonna be checking chat super frequently. But that's okay. So I'm going to play some copy scams. I'm going to get typing, and I'll see you in a little bit here. Good luck on all of your zines. I'm so sorry it's taken me so long to put the zine out. I'm so sorry that it's so late. I know you've been waiting for it forever, even though I've never done this before. But this is my first zine, and I want it to be really good. And I have to actually figure out what to write. Oh my god. This is the end for the class. Step Okay. So this is like this is proof that I don't know what I'm doing. I have like restarted my intro. Every single one of these lines is me trying to restart my intro on what I'm doing here. But I just gotta warm up my typing fingers. That's all. Hello. I have got like a focused work more. All right. Focused work time just to like indicate that I'm not checking chat super often. But welcome. I'm super glad you're here. I'm working on my like Southwest Magic zine, and then like I'll come back and um, check at chat and talk a little more and probably share some of what I'm working on. So welcome. Thanks for hanging out. Hey, Laura. I know, she's a beaut. I'll be here till like 5 p.m. and I'm here tomorrow too, so like come on in whenever.